Thanks for joining us, Steve. You said it was one of the most difficult teams you've ever had to pick. Why was that?
Oh, just because of the amount of talent that's there, and people are in good form, and so we've had to leave some people out that are probably good enough to be All Blacks, and that's always tough. We've had one or two niggly injuries to also complicate the process of, do we take 18 forwards or do we take 17 forwards, and through that we've had some really good robust discussions, and but at the end of the day we've committed to a side that we think should do the job for us.
It's always going to be robust with Foxy in the room, which is good. Steve, I just wrote down who missed out: Whekataua Luatua, Moala, Dixon, McKenzie, Tuapolotu, Nihi Maraskara, Messam, Ngātai. What a lot of people ask me overseas is where this production line of rugby players, all of those guys are incredibly unlucky, but what do you put down to guys like Geordie stepping up so young and looking so mature?
Well, someone like Geordie, I think it's just in his makeup. I think, when his brother was the same in Chicago, he just stepped up and looked like he'd been there all his life. So I think that's part of his makeup, that's part of his whānau's raised him in a way that to deal with, things that are high pressured, but our development system's pretty good. We've got a really great schools rugby, and tinkering a little bit on the point of being too outcome focused, but at the same time they're delivering good players. And then our provincial Mitre 10 competition's great for introducing young men into that form of rugby, and then of course the super teams are flying. So we've got a really competitive base. If you want to get in a super team, you've got to be really performing, and then of course if you want to make the All Blacks, you've got to be really performing.
What about on a personal level? You having to tell someone like a Malakai Whekataua or a Stephen Luatua, who you've worked a lot with over the years, that this year they don't make it? It's
the toughest part of the job, and it requires me being really honest with them and showing empathy, because for them it's a pretty sad news to hear. So it's not easy, but it's got to be done the right way, and that's why I do it myself. I think it's my responsibility as the head coach to do that. So.
It's been really interesting for me, Steve, because everyone's writing off the Lions already after 2 games. What I saw last night was a team that doesn't look like they've completely gelled yet with the systems. Looked like they didn't take too many risks with offloads and that sort of stuff. But what are you expecting from a Lions team from a style point of view?
Well, look, you can assume some things, believe nothing, and then confirm it on the day. But what we would assume by the teams he's selected is that he won't stray too far off what he's normally done with teams he's coached, and we all have a style. It's no criticism of him, but that's his style. He likes to play with big physical forward packs, big physical ball carriers in the middle of the park, and then he likes to try and dominate you and then earn some space because of that. So I can't see him moving away from that too far. Do they want to counter-attack a little bit more? Probably they will. I think they tried that in the Welsh series when they came out here. They looked to run ball back at us. They'll look to vary up how they attack us with their kicking game, I would think. But there's a lot of work for them to do, and to bring that many people together, it's hard enough 5 franchises, let alone 5 different countries who have different cultures. Some of them don't even like each other. When you get up the north, and
a lot of history there.
There's a lot of history. So you've got to break all that down. It takes time. So I think they'll only get better.
I mean, for all our overseas viewers, there's our Prime Minister, and then there's our All Black coach, Steve Hansen, and most of us, including me, have been really, really concerned about the numbers of injuries and stuff. And then Steve's just been really relaxed about it. So I guess my question is, there's a lot more highlight on the head injuries, and it's really important we look after guys. Do you have some sort of formula about experience versus, so someone like Kieran Reid, you're quite happy to put him straight into a test match with other guys with less experience? Do you have some sort of formula around that, or?
Yes, it's not just on experience. It's about the person themselves. And you think back to someone like Richie who had to do it quite a few times, versus someone like Dan. Like Dan wasn't a great guy playing with an injury. You needed Dan to be okay because
he's back.
He is back. He's back. He's well back. But you know what I mean? Like Richie could just turn up and play, and I think that's a great credit to his mental fortitude. I think Rito's pretty similar to that. You know, there's a big motor and mentally strong enough to be able to cope with any self-doubts or any minor niggles and pain that he comes with. So if you've got a player like that, you can afford to chuck him straight in. If you've got a player who's a worrier or thinks about it a wee bit, then you're better to get him right before you chuck him in.
Some really exciting new names in the group. You know, obviously Laumape and Geordie, and you've got some players in that wider group, you know, Goodhue and Akira. That must bring some excitement into the whole sort of team.
Yeah, it'll bring a lot of enthusiasm, and that, you know, that's what you want from those young guys, because there's three groups, I reckon. There's the young guys who come in who are really sort of bushy-tailed and bright-eyed, and then there's the guys who've been there for a long time, and it's, you know, not being disrespectful, but, you know, here we go again. And then there's the guys in the middle who are sort of, they can fall one way or the other. They're either going to stay there for a long time or they're struggling to stay there, and they're trying to make a mark for themselves. So it's about using the energy that comes off all those three groups to make it work for you.
Steve's won everything. It's been an amazing time for you. What does the Lion mean to you personally? I know that when you're coming up for events like this, it must be an incredibly exciting time for you, but also a little bit of pressure, because you do have the cabinet full,
a little bit of pressure,
a lot of expectation, you know.
Yeah, well, look, there's always pressure. If you think you're going to do this job and not have pressure, then you're kidding yourself. So you've got to accept that. And once you accept it, then it becomes a little bit more enjoyable. What does it mean? Well, you know, this is one of the great rugby series, isn't it? And they only come here every 12 years. Not everyone gets the opportunity to play or coach against them, and having been lucky enough to be part of 205, you really get a good feel of what's coming, and get excited by that, because, you know, your teams want to play the best, and you know, it doesn't guarantee you win the thing, but you want to be part of that contest. So that's the exciting part, and the challenge now is for our group to outfox their group. Their group's going to try and outfox us, and we'll find out who gets there.
We're all going to have a good time.
What is, as a fan, can you remember your early memories as a fan of watching the Lions? What was your earliest?
Well, the very first test I ever saw was 1971 and Carisbrook. So, you know, it's a team that stuck with me for a long time, and you know, there were some great players in that team. You know, Edwards and Phil Bennett and Barry John, and John Dawes was the captain, and, you know, some monsters. Well, they looked like monsters when I was a little kid watching them play up front. So, yeah.
I was on the sideline then.
Did you play that game?
No, I was on the sideline. I was like this high, and it's the same thing. I just, you know, it just excites our country. You know, we just love our rugby so much. So we're all looking forward to it, and wish you luck, mate. Awesome.
Yeah, thanks very
Great
much.
team
Yeah,
too.
cheers.
Thanks for joining us.
Lovely, pleasure.
Thank you.
Cheers,
Thanks,
mate.
mate. Right, now joining us here is just a reminder of the squad. Dane Coles is there, even though he's obviously under an injury cloud. We've got Scott Barrett, one of the Barrett trio. Nathan Harris, who's, you know, he's got a good story coming back from injury. We've got Cody Taylor, who's probably going to play a bit of football with Dane Coles injured. Loose forwards there, Sam Kane and Adi Severe, and you know, really the key in the middle there, Sam Whitelock and Brodie Retallick, and of course Kieran Reid is captain, and Liam Squire and Jerome Kano just coming back from injury, hopefully in time. And now joining us, Grant Fox. So when they were saying robust discussion, that's basically you disagreeing with everything? Or?
No, it would be fair to say that on sort of 2 or 3 areas it took us a while to get aligned. And that's good, it's the way it should be. You know, if we all came agreeing with each other from the get-go, or one guy winning the argument all the time, then there shouldn't be 3 of us doing it. So, and look, this was the toughest squad we've had to pick. Without doubt, because, I mean, and Steve quoted the midfield. I mean, the midfield last year we were battling like hell to say who is it, and we jumped on Anton, and look, that turned out real good, didn't it? And this year it's like, oh, look at what we've got now. And yes, some of them haven't played Test rugby, but man, you know, there's some good form shown by some people in that area. So that's congested and just makes it tough, and it's hard to leave good.
Yeah.
You know, not only good players, but good men out.
Good
but
men
you know, it's just, you know, it's just what we have to do sometimes.
I just wrote down the people that missed out, and I'll say it again for the viewers. Whekatoa, Luatua, Moala, Dixon, McKenzie, Topolotu, Nihi Miliskata, Messam, Ngātai. You know, Foxy, so when you actually go into the room and you discuss these points, how much time do you give yourself? Do you have to give yourself some time? Because we're talking about, just the whekatoa discussion, is it a process you go through?
But Jake, as you know,
Aussie, hey mate, good to see you. Welcome.
All year, all season, we're watching and we're talking and we're doing computer work, and we spend time together. We're not at all the games together. We cover the program, and then as we get closer to picking a group, we spend time. So a lot of those discussions are happening continuously, and then. Obviously when we're getting closer to the time, we've got a reasonable idea where we're heading, and it might come down to 2 or 3 that there's still, some debate to be had and some clashes coming up. And sometimes it'll be on that particular cash if you're going, it's 6 of one, half a dozen, and the latest bit of form can be the one that influences your decision. So, and that's where we really got to. We were 31 or 33 not so long ago, and with a couple still to go. So
the thing I like,
we just welcome Ian Foster's just wandered in to join us. Welcome.
Good to be here.
Good to see you, Fozzie, as always. I think the thing I love about this particular crew of selectors, and I know that 2 of you coach, is you're not scared to bring in some young guys. This is a huge event, right? And it would have been easy sometimes to go with someone who might have been there, but you've gone with someone like Mape who's playing incredibly well at the moment. We've all been talking about him, but most of us have been saying, well, will they take a risk in picking someone who's untried? But you've once again shown us that you're not scared, Fozzie, to say these guys are on form, and if you're good enough, let's go for it.
Yeah, it's the hard part, isn't it? Whilst there's a good story about Nani, there's a hard luck story for someone else, and particularly the likes of Malachi. I think what's made it hard this year, like Foxy just alluded to, is that there's probably another 2 or 3 players that could have easily gone into that thing. But at the end of the day, our task is to try to pick the guys that we think can enhance this team and grow it. And what Nani's got, for example, is a skill set and a part of his game that we probably haven't got with our other midfielders, and it just gives us a whole range of options to explore once we figure out how we can put that on the international stage.
Just talking about Geordie Barrett, and just thank you very much to Mr. and Mrs. Barrett for this All Black team, much appreciated.
Are there any more?
Yeah. How important was doing that apprenticeship on the tour last year to his improvement in his selection?
Yeah, well, look, I think it's, we did it a few years ago with Artie. It's not something that we go into every year, is it, Foxy, where we say we're going to have an apprentice on a... So it's more about when we see something in a player that we think, okay, well, if we could expose that person to the environment and get them used to it without the pressure of playing, then it may accelerate their learning. So that's, we did it with Artie, and we learned out of Artie a couple of years ago that he just needed to go away and put a little bit more size on, and so he went away and did that, and the results have been fantastic. And I think with Geordie, we learned very quickly that he's just got that, he's got a composure about him and a competitiveness about him that just means that he wants to be there, and we've witnessed that.
Can I ask you a question, JK? So you've been in the situation that Geordie's going to be in, you got picked at 13 years old or whatever it was, and got chucked in there. How does he handle that?
Oh, it's got a lot to do with the environment, and Foxy was similar. When we went in, the older guys really looked after us, and they gave us confidence. Firstly, the thing that we realised was you hadn't made it, so you got into this new crew, and everyone says, well done, you're an All Black, and then you get into the environment and realise you want to stay there for as long as you can. That's the first thing you think, actually, I'm not at the top of my game, I've got to keep getting better. And then the second thing is the people around you giving you confidence. So some of the elder players like Kieran Reid and Jerome Kaino in this situation, some of the guys that won't be playing, possibly like Coles, are really important in the environment. So I think for me that's the most important thing, is the environment, and then having the confidence just to do your own job. So you just get out there and play your game. You know that the guy next to you is the best in the world. So that's really positive.
That's the message that the coaching group gives new guys. Don't just be yourself. Play your game. Don't try and be somebody else. Just go out and concentrate, on what you're good at and what you've been selected for. And they give, the message is, we trust you. If you go back to the Artie and Geordie thing on apprenticeships, that was, for those two, it's very obvious. It's not if they were going to be All Blacks, it was when. So it gave the coaching group a bit of time to find out more about them, and as Fozzie said, accelerate their learning. And Artie's, look how good Artie is, and Geordie's not going to be bad either. We're pretty sure of that.
We all played with Gaddy, except for you, Ricardo.
No.
You didn't play him.
He did not play cards with Gats?
Yeah.
You did, eh?
I might have actually.
Yeah, but I think we all know Gats pretty well. And they're getting stuck into him, and I can't believe that really, because it looks like the team's just not quite got their game comfortable yet. But this is going to be a big Lions team, well coached. Does that excite you? You're looking forward to that challenge?
Yours.
Oh, heck yeah. I mean, this is, you know, we know they're going to go through a phase, but the next first 5 games are about getting ready for the 6th game, which is the test match, isn't it? And they've stated that clearly. And so whilst I guess they want to win everything to build up their own confidence, they're trying combinations out, trying their game plans. And I mean, and their challenge is at what point do they stop that and actually focus on improving their game versus, you know, keeping the whole squad happy and rotating it around. So they've got challenges, we've got challenges. At the end of the day, test 1 will be a winner takes all, won't it? And we know that, and we know they've got proven international players that, for one-off occasions, are very, very good players. So we have to prepare for them to be at their best.
You've got some very strong high ball exponents and guys who are good at kicking the ball back in your back 3. Are you expecting a fair bit of that from the Lions?
Yeah, I think so. I think we saw a little bit of it last night, where under pressure they went to their scrum for penalties, they went to their line-out drives, and you know, we would expect the high ball to be part of that. So it's certainly going to be something that we have to deal with.
Well, we're going to let these 2 gentlemen go to the real media now.
Exactly.
So this is a Facebook thing. I'll explain what Facebook is afterwards when we wind down.
What's
Had to explain to me.
Yeah. All right. All the best for the...
Cheers, guys.
See you guys.
Cheers.
Thanks, Foxy.
That's it.
Thanks, Foxy.
Thanks, Foxy.
See you, mate.
Thank you.
See shortly. Thanks, Foxy.
And let's have a look back.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Just a reminder, there's the All Blacks squad again. The forwards are Kirwan Reid, as we said, coming back from injury, as is Liam Skye, Jerome Kano. And just joining us now, looking at the backs. Yeah, very strong. Obviously, you see those new names there, Nani Laumape and Geordie Barrett, which is very exciting for all of us. And then this is a really interesting group here of injury replacements. So they're obviously going to be part of the group. You've got the young Jack Goodhue, who's playing out of his skin for the Crusaders at the moment. Liam Coltman, the hooker cover. Matt Todd, who would be frontline number 7 for most teams around the world, via Fafita, and Akira Ioane, who's sort of really coming out from the wilderness and showing some great form. So joining us now is the guy that's going to be captaining the group, and Kirwan Reid, welcome. How's the thumb? Does everyone ask you that every time they talk to you?
I hate that. It's the first thing they say, so let's not talk about your thumb, it's fine.
Yeah, it's going to be fine. So no,
okay, move on. Right.
I think the scariest thing for you is when you do play that first test, how your lungs going to be burning after not playing.
Yeah, exactly. And hey, mate, the mindset of it is it's probably going to be burning, which is fine. So I know I've done a lot of work over the last probably 6 weeks, being able to run, being able to do all that. So looking forward to that test, and you just know your body's going to be hurting. You've got to get your mind to get you over that line.
And I think for someone like yourself, exciting having some of these young guys in the side, keep some of the more experienced, I won't call you old yet,
Yeah.
some of the more experienced guys, I mean, they bring a great excitement, and this selection group are not scared to bring in some new blood, young guys.
Yeah, you're right there. It's that's what is exciting, I guess, for us as older guys, been around a while, is just the excitement on their faces when they come into the squad, and those new guys, even those injury replacements coming in, they'll be so excited. It just lifts us as a group. You need a whole squad, and some days you might not be quite feeling it, but if you see someone who's up, it gets everyone else up, which is awesome.
I've actually just brought in a young guy, Ricky
Yeah.
Ioane. Yeah. Congratulations, first of all, on the win last night.
Oh yeah, thanks. That was awesome.
Yeah, and then congratulations on the selection. So it must be really exciting for you to have your brother as part of the group as well.
Yeah, obviously having Aki in here, it's a dream come true for both of us, I think, just being together. But yeah, he's definitely worked hard this year on his game and on everything that comes with it. So yeah, it's awesome as a brother just to see him get the rewards, just to be in the mix, and the environment will be awesome for him. And again, just keep progressing and growing his game.
Now, not a lot of people will know this, but the Ioane boys got their pace off their mums. Andrew's a fantastic athlete in her own right, but must be a proud day for for Eddie and Mum.
Yeah.
They'll be stoked to see you both there.
Yeah, I think so. I think obviously last year was awesome for them, so I think this year will definitely be a bit of highlight with Aki being in. So I think yeah, definitely family dinners on the cards tonight. So
Kirwan, just go back. I mean, obviously the Lions are copping a bit of flack at the moment. Does that sort of make you feel a bit uneasy that everyone's sort of writing them off?
Yeah, a little bit. I think, you know, I don't want us to be too naive about what we've seen so far. Like, by the time we get to that first test, they're going to be a completely different side. Test matches is won or lost on your defence, on your set piece and things like that, and your intensity to a game. And that's probably their strength, is what they'll bring in those two games. And they'll work on their skill level and combinations, which will come probably over the next 2 weeks. So, yeah, it hasn't changed our mindset of how tough this series is going to be.
I think for us, we often talk about Northern Hemisphere and Southern Hemisphere, don't we, Ricardo? I mean, it is hard and frustrating to go straight into strong Northern Hemisphere style rugby when they're sending more to the ruck. Often they're off their feet, not their fault, it's just refereed really differently. So, I mean, that would be one of the challenges, actually, just keep confidence, don't get frustrated with, you know, game, different pace. You know, you come from Super Rugby, it's sort of razzle-dazzle, and then things slow down a bit. So the leadership group will be important to keep that calmness.
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, we have definitely noticed that, I guess, you play the Southern Hemisphere game, and it is different to the Northern Hemisphere. In terms of, as you say, the refs are potentially a couple of French referees. The way they play, the line speed, the work that they do at the breakdown is probably ahead of what we do down here, whereas for us it's about getting quick balls, so defences will fan out, whereas up there it's slowing the ball down, it's doing your best to do that, which makes the game up, I guess, in that northern part of the world. So yeah, slight differences. What it can't cloud us is what our strengths are. And as you said, I think the way we can just work on them, use our strength, which is obviously going to be able to make as quick ball as we can, operate our skill set, and let that happen. But you've got to have slight variations in your game.
Rico, you played against the Lions last night. What about the intensity and also their line speed on defence? How did you find that?
yeah, obviously they brought a lot faster line speed compared to what we're used to. And I think, yeah, as Kirwan touched on, just the physicality at the breakdown. You know, a couple of their boys, big boys, you know, they're just awesome over the ball. And I think for them to be so big and so mobile, especially around their breakdown and around those tight rucks.
Do you feel a real difference between, say, playing Super Rugby and then playing against the Lions?
Yeah, I think I'm not too involved in the breakdowns, but yeah, definitely the line speed I felt was a lot faster than what I'm used to. But I think it's probably better to ask a forward about the breakdown, because
I avoided breakdowns my whole career, so that was a bit of a challenge for me. Now, I know you love your kit. Yeah. Mate, I know you love your shoes and stuff, so you're looking forward to the free kit?
Hey? Free kit's always good. Yeah, I'm just happy to be back, and but yeah, obviously the kit's really good.
And I know you're one of the youngest boys, but you do have to lead the fashion, right? Because I know you're a centre, but you're playing on the wing, so you've got to help these forwards especially to roll with the right gear, mate. Especially some of the more mature guys on the side, you know, you just got to keep them...
Okay, we'll go all right, mate. We'll go all right.
But the good thing is he doesn't have to share his issue with his brother, because he gets his own issue.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no.
So
But it looks like you're enjoying it, mate. Like you're smiling last night, the pressure, you know, you're just having a good time.
Yeah, I think obviously last night with playoffs out of reach for us Blues Brothers, I think there's definitely just a chance to just to play the game that how we want to and how we've wanted to for a long time. And I think last night was the start of that. So I think yeah, definitely the whole team thoroughly enjoyed the brand that we did play last night. And you know, with all our guns firing last night, it was awesome to get on the back end of a few of the offloads and kicks. So yes.
We've got to let you guys go to your media duties, but just what was your earliest memory of the Lions as a fan?
Probably for me it was when they played in Australia, I think 2001. It's probably when I first really kind of recognised what they were. My dad certainly appreciated them when they came here. You know, watched a lot of those tours. 71, I guess, was a massive one. And yeah, told me how much it means to New Zealanders when they come. But yeah, for me it was Australia, and then 01, I think 05 as well. I guess coming here was another big one.
Because, I mean, are you aware, Rico, you've obviously heard all this talk about just what the Lions mean to the New Zealand rugby public?
I think, yeah, obviously it's huge. Something that doesn't come around very often. And I think the last time they actually came to New Zealand, I was probably too young to remember any of it.
All right, let's just finish it there, I think. That's a good time.
Oh, sorry.
All right, we'll let these fine gentlemen go. Now they've reminded us that we're a little bit older than everyone else.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, that's good. Keep that up. I like that. That's good. He was talking to you.
I was talking to me. All right, all the best for the DHL British and Irish Lions series.
Oh, well done, mate.
Yeah,
You've got all the sponsors out. That's
Well
good.
done, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers.
See you, brother. Enjoy.
Cheers.
Good luck.
And here's just a look at the Maori All Blacks squad. Just a reminder, led there by Ash Dixon, and really pleased for Elliot Dixon to get a chance to show that the selectors not forget about him. And very strong, experienced group, obviously led by Liam Messam there, and Akira having a chance to show why the selectors have got it right. And then we'll have a look now at the backs. Exciting for Bryn Hall, who's come in from his first year at the Crusaders to get the selection. The Ihia West there, who's obviously still celebrating last night's try. He's got another reason to celebrate. A big opportunity for Nehi Milner-Skudder to remind the selectors of just how talented he is, as with Damien McKenzie. So there's a really nice blend. Exciting to see Charlie Ngatai getting a chance to step up. And now joining us, the coach of the New Zealand Maori All Blacks is Kiva. Welcome.
All right. Coops, good to see you, mate.
Okay.
Lovely to have you here. What a team.
Exciting, isn't it?
Exciting.
Yeah. It's got experience and it's got X factor in it, and yeah, so I'm pretty proud to be representing them as the head coach and looking forward to it. Yeah.
And just for our international viewers, the spiritual side of coming together as a Maori, bringing all the tribes together, their whakapapa and their whānau, that's a big part of the week as well.
That's what I talked about mentally. It helps us connect to who we are, what we're about, and most teams is Super and Mitre trying to get a theme to connect everyone is always a challenge. But with Māori rugby, it's one of the easiest teams I've got, because we just go back to our history, our legacy, and boys all being Māori, they just connect so easy. And I guess that's why we can get a team in, travel, play a test match, and 6 days later, it's the mental side has already been done.
When I looked at that group, obviously you've got a captain, but you talked about the leaders you've got in that group. People like Liam Messam and Elliot Dixon. You've got some incredible, not just because they're experienced, but they're leaders of men.
Yeah, exactly. Tim Bateman and Charlie Ngatai, they're fantastic leaders, and I've been very lucky to be able to have coached them previously and bringing them along into Ash, and there's a number of others in that group too that could lead. So I think the selection was all about the now. So a lot of players that were playing Super were getting a nod ahead of guys that weren't playing Super, and experience came into it also.
I think that the interesting thing for me, Coops, is that Gats has come down here. As a coach, it's really hard to say everyone's going to get a game when you've got big test match coming up. But I'm pretty sure that you're going to be playing the test side. So it's going to be a huge challenge. You've been following them. You're excited about it.
Yeah, well, I've been interested. I learned a lot going to UK last year and seeing the mindset of the UK player and how he played, and they've certainly been playing a lot more expensive than I thought they would. And is he trying things out? Is he getting ready for that first test, which the word is? And so if he's getting ready for the first test, Māori will play the first test team, and so we have to be ready. It's going to be all on. It's
always the highlight of a Lions tour, the New Zealand Māori game, isn't it? I mean, for us growing up, it's some of the great games, and that sense of expectation. How do the New Zealand Māori All Blacks deal with that sense of expectation?
Yeah, again, we've just got to think about what we can bring, be prepared as best we can. We're only going to be together for about 3 or 4 trainings, so being smart in those trainings, and not having to go over 100% how to exit, 100% on what we're doing from set piece, but to just give a structure where we can play our game.
We've got a new jersey.
Yeah, it's just over there. You want to go and get it, Ricardo? You want me to go and get it?
Well, we'll get
someone to get it.
Can someone go and get that jersey for us?
Grab that
oh, there's no one around.
Bring it in. Can you grab the jersey for us?
Bring it in, because I'd like you to sort of explain a little bit about some of the design of this jersey, because, you know...
Me, because I've just had a bit of a lesson on it, which really excites me.
We won't get...
You can pull his arm off, it's okay. It's only us.
Yeah.
We've just ripped the arm off the model.
Yeah.
Yeah, bring him in.
So we're hoping that the New Zealand Maori players will be playing with both arms, but we just bring the mannequin over.
Yeah, bring the mannequin over. Yeah.
Just
that's all right. Just bring. We only need the top bit. Yeah, that's it. Beautiful. Can we swing that camera around?
There we go.
There we go.
Oh,
beautiful.
Look at that. See?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So I just got this explained to me, which is really important because, like I said, for international viewers, especially for Māori and also for us New Zealanders, having a connection with the land is really fundamental. And when Coop said about the team coming together, so down the bottom here we have the lake, Lake Rotorua, which is a really important, significant place in Māoridom, and then we go up. What have we got here, Ricardo? We've got a taniwha there, which is really important. On both sleeves, we've got Mother and Father Earth, and you know, I reckon it's one of the loveliest jerseys I've seen. We've also got more designs on the pants, but coming back to that spirituality, Coops, it does bring people
first
together.
Of all, how accurate was he when he described
the
very
accurate.
Was he
very
good?
Accurate. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Our kaumātua Luke Crawford.
Yeah.
Designed that. He's been with us all my time in the last 5 years. So, very good man by helping me bring culture into our environment and the connection of playing and having the culture behind you, having a lot of waira for your culture and playing for your people is pretty special, and that's why I love being involved in this team.
And style of play, traditionally Coop's always been about giving the ball some air and you know, Barbarian rugby style was probably invented by the Māori because but you have an incredible athlete, don't you? I think our Maori players, Nia Minoskata, I mean, you know, he comes onto the scene and steps 100 people and goes back to step them all again before he scores a try, but the talent must excite you.
Yeah, so I think for me it was putting some structure around that flair, and because you're not going to compete around the world if you're just playing with flair, and so I probably restricted it a little bit if there's criticism on how we're playing, and trying to get us stronger at set piece, getting us more organised in our launch, and then then our next play from that, and then opening up for flair. So I think when we played Japan, I remember our first test against Eddie Jones in 2013 or 14. He just brought everything at us defensively. We smashed them and knocked them out by 60 points. Then he played set piece game, and we were lucky to win, and we won by I think a point, and it was Māori flair that got us that win in the end.
I mean, the modern game, you need that balance though, don't you, Coops? I mean, we talk about throwing the ball, but you've got to earn the right, don't you?
It's earning the right, yeah.
Earning the right.
That's it. We can't wait for that game, because as you say, it's going to probably be a bit of a look at the Lions test side, and you get a chance to really play the first test, you know. So all the best. So that's probably coming to the end of our Facebook Live coverage of the All Black team announcement and the New Zealand Maori All Black announcement for the British and Irish Lions DHL series. Now don't forget, the first time we get to see this All Black team in action, the Pacifica Challenge. So get your tickets. The All Blacks v Samoa and Tonga v Wales. Both games on at Eden Park on the 16th of June. That's Friday. Gates open at 4:30, and we expect to see you all there, because you know we're all passionate All Black fans, and the best way to get out there and support them is by going to their games. So just in summary, JK.
In summary, I'm just looking at the All Blacks, and then there's Tonga Wales before that.
Yeah.
How good is that? My summary is this All Black side is one of the strongest because of the people that got left out. You know, there's an incredible football team that has not been selected today. Strong team. We're going to need a strong team for this Lions. I wouldn't write them off, but I'm just really excited because I think, you know, great courage by the selectors to bring in, you know, guys like Rico and Akita and you know, the Barrett family. So yeah, just exciting times, mate.
And how about those two young guys, you know, Nani Lamape and Julie Barrett? They've just been named today as All Blacks for the first time in their lives.
Yeah, you're walking on cloud nine. You keep looking at your selection to make sure that it's true, and you probably won't believe it till you put the jersey on. But that's how strong our All Black culture is. Like I say, when we're born, you know, we say All Blacks before we say mum and dad. So it's a dream come true for them. Really proud moment for their families. And now they'll want to stay there.